This episode of On the Record is brought to you by Associated Equipment Distributors. I'm Executive Editor Kim Schmidt. We're at JCB World Headquarters. Welcome to On the Record. Here's an update on what's currently impacting the ag equipment industry. In our monthly dealer sentiments and business conditions survey, we've started asking dealers for their 2026 forecasts. The initial outlook is for sales to be down 10% year over year in 2026. Dealers' latest forecast for 2025 is for sales to be down 12% on average year over year. Looking at dealers by brand, Deere dealers are forecasting the largest year over year decline in 2025 at down 20%. Shortline-only dealers are the only group calling for sales growth, forecasting a 3% increase in 2025 sales. One Corn Belt dealer said, "Quoting and purchasing activity has slowly worsened throughout the year. Customer sentiment remains depressed, and we feel 2026 will be slightly worse than 2025. Another dealer noted that it seemed like customer sentiment took a step back month over month, adding that commodity prices and equipment prices are not encouraging. Yet another dealer shared that while their dollar sales are up, their unit sales are down year over year, and their margin is down more than 5 points versus last year. This week's dealer on the move is Messick Farm Equipment. The Pennsylvania-based New Holland dealer has acquired Redding Tractor and Equipment, a Kubota dealer in Leesport, Pennsylvania. Now here's Noah Newman with the latest from the Technology Corner.
Thanks a lot, Kim. I had a great conversation with Clint Brower, co-founder and head of innovation at Greenfield Robotics, and his company's autonomous bots are sold out for 2026. He says the goal now is to inch a little bit closer to the ag mainstream within the next 18 months.
These robots are getting pretty good now. Every year they're making big jumps. 2-3 years ago, I was apologizing a lot. We wrote checks to farmers when we had damage or when things just weren't getting done right. And traditionally always said, here are 5 disasters I'm pretty sure are going to happen. But they don't. They don't anymore. They just don't.
So you think that, autonomy and this kind of technology on the farm might be arriving in the quote unquote mainstream quicker than we'd expect?
I've been on the adoption curve my entire career, right? And there's always early stage adopters no matter what it is. So non-GMO, strip till, I think, and non-GMO and organic are going to be the early adopters on a lot of these things, although we work with every kind of farm now. And so I think that's that. You always have slower adopters and it's about money, right? When you want to go mass market, the financial argument has to be concise and it has to be perfect. And you have to understand what you're going to have to do to adopt that technology. And so we're clearly in the early adopter market, but the goal is to cross over that in the next 18 months to where anyone can look at the financials and go, I think this makes some sense. I'm going to give this a try.
Yeah, as Clint said there, the technology has grown by leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. Catch my full conversation and learn more about how the bots operate at precisionfarmingdealer.com. In the Technology Corner, I'm Noah Newman. Back to you, Kim.
Thanks, Noah. As of October 1st, corn prices were $4.16, down a penny from our last episode. Soybeans closed at $10.13, down 12 cents, and wheat closed at $5.09, down 6 cents. Speaking at a press event in preparation for Agritechnica, Dr. Tobias Erhardt, Managing Director of the VDMA Agricultural Machinery Association, noted that European ag equipment manufacturers, much like their North American counterparts, are operating in a difficult market environment. Although order intake rose noticeably in numerous product segments in the first half of 2025, the sales situation remains unsatisfactory, emphasizes Erhardt. The industry-wide Business Climate Index, which is based on a monthly survey of top managers in European industry, paints a similar picture. An upturn has been expected for some time, but it is not really materializing at the moment, says Erhardt, explaining the continuing stagnation in the industry. In view of aging machinery fleets, he says ag machinery manufacturers expect demand for modern technology to rise again in the medium term. We are confident that the agricultural machinery markets will normalize sooner or later, emphasizes Erhardt, saying that as soon as the economic engine really gets going again, a solid upturn is likely. European manufacturers are feeling the pain of U.S.-imposed tariffs. While the increased tariff rate in mechanical engineering affects an average of 30% of EU export volume, in agricultural machinery it is 70% on average, explains Dr. Erhardt. The BDMA's position on trade policy is clear. We must move away from protectionism and toward open market as quickly as possible. When a multilateral free trade agreement are not feasible, bilateral agreements must be concluded, as is the case of Mercosur, summarizes the industry expert. While grain farmers dealing with a bumper crop and trade challenges are likely to lose money in 2025, the cattle business is the best it's been in decades, according to a September 15th report in the Wall Street Journal. Cattlemen are making a record profit of more than $700 per animal, up from $2 just 5 years ago, according to industry estimates. However, the picture isn't necessarily as positive for dairy farmers. We caught up with Chuck Walker from Coon North America this week at World Dairy Expo in Madison, Wisconsin, and he said both their row crop and dairy customers are facing challenges this year.
Both entities are facing some uncertainties, especially on the tariff side. In the row crop, there's a lot of old storage of crop that needs to move, and there's a bumper crop coming. So that is going to have to be moved. And will that be an uptick on sales of iron? Because they will need to buy. On the dairy side, milk is a little lower right now. They have to pay full for trucking that used to be free. And so we're seeing a lot of the dairy side change that are keeping cows that should go to be culled, and they're keeping them for that expensive day-old calf. So that has added more milk because that's a cow that would have been taken out of production. So yes, they're gaining, which they should be on the beef side with a calf, but then they're adding to a little bit of problem with maybe some overproduction.
This week's DataPoint is brought to you by the Precision Farming Dealer Summit. Visit precisionfarmingdealersummit.com to learn more and to register. U.S. net cash farm income, defined as gross cash income minus cash expenses, is forecast to increase by $36.5 billion from 2024 to $180.7 billion in 2025 in inflation-adjusted dollars, according to USDA. U.S. net farm income is forecast to increase by $48.8 billion to $179.8 billion in 2025. Net farm income is a broader measure of farm sector profitability that incorporates non-cash items, including changes in inventories, economic depression, and gross inputted rental income. Most of the projected increase in 2025 corresponds with higher direct government payments to farmers, projected to increase from $10.4 billion in 2024 to $40.5 billion in 2025. This increase is expected largely because of supplemental and ad hoc disaster assistance to farmers and ranchers from the American Relief Act of 2025, which authorized economic assistance payments to producers and payments for losses in 2023 and 2024. As always, we welcome your feedback. You can send comments and story suggestions to kschmidt@lessitermedia.com. Until next time, I'm Kim Schmidt. Thanks for joining us.